So our culture tells us that the purpose of sex is to achieve a release. That experience of release, that sensation of release, that is the greatest gift that sex can give us. It is the most powerful experience, the most beneficial experience, and all our wishes and hopes will come true when we find that release in sex. And I am here to tell you that if you want to have really amazing sex, then you need to turn this around completely. The true purpose of sex, the true meaning and value of sex is exactly the opposite of a release. Do not try to achieve a release in sex. Do not seek for the release in sex. Do exactly the opposite. Seek exactly the opposite. And this is how you're going to bring a completely new quality of sexual energy into your life, a much more powerful sexual energy into your life, and a whole new world of really incredible experiences by doing the opposite to a release. Because this one thing about the release, it becomes a purpose in sex. It drives everything in sex. The purpose defines the technique you are using, where you are taking it, the choices you're making, the whole journey that you're creating out of sex. And the purpose that we have been given is that we need to take sex to that moment of release. We need to somehow release at some point, release the sexual tension, release that energy in our body. We need to feel that sensation of release. We need to get that experience of release. And supposedly, in that moment of release, everything will happen. In that moment of release, you will find happiness. You will find fulfillment. You will find satisfaction. You will find bliss. You will find affection. You will find connection. You will find aliveness. You will feel lots of medical benefits and even a window to God and to the divine in that moment of release. And I want you to take a moment, take a step back and reflect on the fact that this makes no sense. What do you want from sex? What do you want to experience in sex? And how do you want to feel after sex? Now, I might use different words to what the words that you might use, but more or less, I expect that the gist of it is as follows. You want to feel enriched. You want to feel alive. You want to feel the beauty of life in this moment. You want to feel happiness. With that partner, you want to feel affection. You want to feel closeness. You want to feel love, perhaps. You want to be vibrant. You want to feel alive. You want to feel beauty. You want to feel energy. Something like this, right? In the moment of sex itself, in all its glory, with all its erotic beauty and vibrations and sensations flowing through you as this aliveness, this energy, this beauty everywhere. And after sex, you want to feel really buoyant and you want to, see that your day is all sparkly and you feel that massive love and connection and joy in your heart with your lover, with others, in yourself. You want to feel alive and full of energies. So what I am describing here to you is a feeling of fullness. You are full of something. You are full of aliveness, of energy, of love. So you come out of sex full of energy, of aliveness, of love. So really what you're looking for from sex is an experience of saturation with these energies. In very loose terms, they go into different parts of your system and you get lots of different feelings from it. But it is an experience of saturation, of filling up. And the experience of a release, if you visualize it, is exactly the opposite to that energetically. It is an experience of being full, essentially bursting with something and releasing it to empty yourself. So the result of a release is emptiness. It is not fullness. So the thing that you are doing here is not filling up or saturating. You are emptying yourself to become empty. And this is the pattern that a lot of people find themselves in when they have sex. They build up that sexual tension, that sexual energy to achieve that release. Then they release that sexual energy and the emptiness settles in and they feel empty. Now, somewhere along the line, there has been a proposition that that state of emptiness is actually fullness. Then when you empty yourself, you're actually going to be full of energy and aliveness and happiness and joy and love and affection, etc., etc. somewhere this idea that makes no sense has been accepted as absolutely logical. Please understand that the purpose of sex is not to empty yourself. It is to fill up, to saturate from every moment with that beauty, that energy, that love, that aliveness. So actually, you don't need to stay away from a release or to prevent it. You can include the release as well. But you shouldn't be under any illusion that it is the release that is feeding you or nourishing you. It is the process of saturation, the process of filling up with that sexual energy throughout sex, moment by moment. That is what really enriched you. Now, the release also does have a place, of course. Sometimes you can have too little sexual energy, you can have too much sexual energy. If you have too little, then it's better for you to stay away from a release, because you're going to be feeling depleted, you're going to be feeling a bit sluggish, not so vibrant with it. You might not have a lot of desire for sex, or you might not feel so much in sex. So it's good for you to not release your sexual energy and to build it up. But of course, if you have too much of it, if you're bursting with it, then you might be perturbed by it. You might feel out of balance, you might be distracted, you might feel tense. So it's good for you then to release some of that sexual energy. It is still a loss of sexual energy. That doesn't change. It's just in this differential, obviously, a loss is a good thing because it brings you back to a better place. So sometimes a release is good for you, and sometimes a release is not good for you. It depends on your sexual energy levels. But in either case, this has nothing to do with the quality of sex. This is just management of your sexual energy. You just bring your sexual energy to balance. It is like going to the toilet. It does not make amazing sex. The purpose of sex still wasn't to achieve a release. The purpose was still to fill up before the release. That is what stays with you. The release is just something you decided to include anyway. If you're interested in learning more, I teach you the complete practice of holistic sex in my online courses, which you can see on my website. This will give you a completely new sex life.